everybody, Cinema Sickness here with your daily sickness video, and as always, hope you guys are having a fantastic day. And it's that time again, time for the Too Many Games convention, which is a somewhat newer game convention, which is held every year in Oaks, Pennsylvania, which is will make me like 15 minutes away from where I live. Love that this is becoming a big thing. I remember when it first started, it was kind of little, and I was always thinking, it's just kind of a small thing. Will it ever really take off? And it definitely has become a very big gaming convention for the East Coast. It's pretty big, it's pretty awesome, and I love the fact that it's become this big thing where a lot of people come out to it. A lot of YouTube celebrities and whatnot come out to it. It's awesome to see that this is taken off and become this great big thing, especially since it's so close to me and so easy for me to get to every year. It's really awesome. So went last year. Had a great time, had to go back this year. Unfortunately, it cost me a little bit more this year to get in. I think because of the popularity, perhaps they're upping the price on tickets, I don't know. But definitely spent maybe like $10 more this year to get in than I did last year. Wasn't too happy about that. But regardless, had to run out there, very excited to get back out to the convention and check out some panels and hopefully get some amazing deals. So of course, while I was out there, I shot some videos, so let's go do some hunting. Well, alright guys, here we are back at Too Many Games, and look, some celebrities right there, but back at Too Many Games. Had a blast out here last year, very excited to be back and see what kind of great deals I can get, and right off the bat, come across a $5 bin full of games, but as you can see, also with some Blu-rays, really cool. So right off the bat, already finding cinema, that is a good sign. I'm certainly here for the games, but cinema's always nice. Did pass and everything up on there. And I also come across some UMD videos here, definitely one I need to grab there. So again, already off the bat, coming across cinema, including some anime. This is an amazing sign. Did not expect to come across this much cinema at a game convention. But finally, onto some games here, some Game Boy games, which again is the only thing I do collect for all these individually priced and individually bagged, which was odd enough. Didn't pick up anything within that selection, but I did grab some stuff here, some great deal. This was kind of all different price, but he said any sports games were $1, and anything else he would just make me a good deal on. Ended up finding 2 sports games I wanted and another title which he gave me a fantastic deal on, so definitely had to jump on some stuff there. And then on to some more goodies here, but what was more exciting was all the Star Wars figures. Look at these. So cool. This guy had a ton of awesome vintage Star Wars figures. That was really neat to look at. No need for them, but very cool. And I love this Sam picture. Almost was tempted to get that. And some Mike Myers and Captain America. There's some Spider-Man and I think a Bullet Bill and Iron Man. This is awesome. Captain Spaulding. I love these. These were so cool, but really wanted the Trick or Treat one. That was pretty awesome. And then here's where you guys might end up yelling at me. There was a whole bunch of horror VHS tapes here. Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff I was unaware if it was any good. I mean, Return of the Fly and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of this I was aware of and I knew what it was, but there was a lot of stuff here that I had never heard of and didn't know anything about. So the question is any of this worth it? Was any of this worth picking up? I'm not sure, and I mean worth it in the sense that was any of it worth money, because these were all $5 a piece, which is way over my limit for a VHS tape, but if any of it was rare or obscure, it might have been worth $5. So, I don't know. Did I do good? Did I do bad? I'm not sure. And some games here, which I ended up picking up. 5 for $20, not a bad deal, so I did grab some stuff out of there as well. And then check out all these Pokemon VHS tapes. Very cool. I had a bunch of those back in the day, but no need for them anymore. I have them all on DVD now. And oh my god, look at all these Blu-rays. Again, so much cinema to be found at this game convention. I was so surprised. Ended up finding something really cool on this rack that I definitely had to grab. And then on to some more games here. And we got some Game Boy Advance video cards. Unfortunately, none I'm looking for. I needed 3 cards, and those were not any of them. Some interesting stuff in here. I did actually end up grabbing one title out of here. Pricing wasn't all that great in that pile, but I did grab one thing. And a whole bunch of video game related cinema here. Very cool, but already have all that stuff. Did not need to grab any of that. And then on to another Game Boy Advance video cards of Pokemon, but not the one I needed. And neither was this one. I need 1 out of 4. I already have 3 of them, and none of those are the ones I needed. And then on to some more cinema here. This is all the Angry Video Game Nerd stuff. Very cool. The one title that I was hoping he would have, he didn't have, so I ended up passing on all his stuff. And then on to some Game Chasers. Love their stuff as well, but I didn't grab any of their stuff either. The prices aren't bad. It's just it's more than I really want to pay. And then Dancing Mario, or in this case, Flexing Mario. He was hamming it up for the camera there. And this is what I'm talking about. $1 each video games. Picked up a whole bunch of $1 stuff last year. Picked up a bunch this year as well. And oh, check out these cool signs here. Definitely intrigued and might have picked those up. And then Movie Buff was here as well. These guys are awesome. Really cool game. Talked to them last year at Blobfest. Really nice people. Absolutely love these guys. And they have a really, really fun card game as well. And definitely wanted to talk to them a little bit. And one of the characters from Five Nights at Freddy, I'm not really familiar with the game. I don't know who that is, but it was really cool to see that. And I did check out a couple panels. This is the CU podcast panel. Very cool. I really did enjoy this. It was pretty neat seeing this live and hearing everything they had to talk about. Definitely enjoyed the panels at the TooManyGames convention. And then, some more $1 titles. A whole bunch of random stuff thrown in here, but there were some Game Boy games. And definitely a few things I was intrigued by and interested in picking up. And then definitely had to check out the arcade. Really cool arcade. A lot of good games in here. Unfortunately, lacking in the cinema-related games, which I love playing. But there still were a lot of really cool games in there anyway. At least they did have a Terminator 2 pinball game. And pinball is my jam, so I was pretty excited to see that. I love pinball games. And they also had some concerts as well. A lot of bands playing, which is really, really cool. This band here was rocking out. They were interesting. They were pretty cool. But throughout the day, there was some really good music coming out of this little venue here. A lot of good stuff. I didn't really check much of it out, but there were some really cool bands playing. And that was pretty neat to see. And I guess some Final Fantasy characters. Again, not really all that familiar with the Final Fantasy series, but I think that's who they are. I don't know. Leave some comments. Let me know. And finally, checked out the Living in 8 Bits panel, which is really cool. Love the work they do. So that was it for my time out at the TooManyGames convention. Let's take a look at what I picked up. Well, alright guys, there you go. That was my time out at the TooManyGames convention in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Again, had an absolutely fantastic time. A lot of fun out there. Again, I love going out there. I love this becoming a big thing. It's so much fun, and I'm already excited for next year. Last year was the first year I went because it was the first year that I really started to get back into game collecting. Again, as you guys know, I only collect for Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. I don't collect for any other systems. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you should." Like I've played other systems. I grew up with video games. I played many video game systems in my lifetime. I love video games on all consoles. But for me, I don't. If I had a console sitting in front of me, I wouldn't play it. I have a Wii actually. I have a Wii. It's upstairs in another room. Just collecting dust. I don't play it. I don't ever use it. I just have no need for it. I'm always watching movies. I like having the Game Boy because I can play on the go, or if I just want to quickly, it's right here. If I just want to quickly grab it and just play a game for like 5-10 minutes and then put it away and then do something else, I love being able to do that. I don't have to worry about a console or anything like that. So really enjoy just collecting for the Game Boy. Plus, Game Boy Advance is my all-time favorite console anyway. I love the games for the Game Boy Advance. I love Game Boy games, Game Boy Color. There are some good games for the Game Boy Color. I just still, to this day, think the Game Boy Color is just sort of a mediocre system. I'm not the biggest fan of Game Boy Color, but Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, I love. So many good games on it. So that's what I collect for, and it makes going out to this convention obviously a lot more fun that I'm collecting for Game Boy games, and I'm able to go out there and just find all kinds of awesome stuff. And I love the panels as well because even though I'm not super into collecting for video games, I'm still very interested in the video game collecting culture. I just like the collecting culture in general. I'm a big fan of people who collect stuff and collecting. I think it's a lot of fun. I think everybody should collect something, whether it's movies, video games. I don't care if you collect rocks. Collect whatever you want. I think collecting is really cool. I think everybody in the world should have a collection that they love and enjoy. I think collecting is just an absolutely fantastic thing. No matter what it is, everybody should do it. So I certainly love the collecting aspect of video games, and I watch a lot of video game YouTubers and whatnot. So going out to the convention, watching all the panels and stuff of people whose videos I watch, that's great. I love it. So, again, had an absolutely fantastic time. So let's take a look at everything I picked up. I actually ended up grabbing everything you're about to see here, because I'm hoping I can remember how much I paid for everything. We'll see. But I ended up paying maybe like $92, $93 for everything here. I actually brought $200 with me, which I was kind of hoping I wasn't going to spend, and ended up not. Last year, when I went out there, I only brought $100 with me, and at the end of the convention, I was like, I wish I would have brought more money. I was kind of bummed. So this year, I brought the $200 in anticipation that maybe I'd want to spend $200 again, and I ended up not. I ended up spending actually under $100 on everything you're going to see here, so totally awesome. The less money I spend, the better. So, all right, guys, let's take a look at what I got. So first off, I'll just show you the free stuff. Obviously, we got our cool lanyard. I love that they give you a neat little lanyard badge. every year. This is just a cool little fun collectible. And you also get the TooManyGames like guidebook here. Just tells you about what's going on and all this stuff, just all this stuff happening. Here's all the panels and whatnot. Very cool. I love it. Just a fun little collectible piece. I do hold on to these. I think they're pretty cool. I have a whole box full of like a memory box full of just cool stuff that I do. That I always keep stuff like this. So definitely awesome. Love keeping that. That's really cool. This is also very neat. Maybe, you know what, actually, I'm going to see that to not last, but I'll show you that in a minute. Let's actually just first dive into cinema. I did actually pick up a few cinematic items. I was surprised by how much cinema stuff I saw. VHS, DVDs, Blu-rays, UMD videos, Game Boy Advance videos. I was surprised. I was kind of expecting maybe the UMD videos and Game Boy Advance videos, sure, but the amount of like VHS, DVDs, and Blu-rays I saw, I was really, really surprised. I mean, this is a gaming convention. Really surprised to see all that. I don't remember seeing that much last year. I remember seeing some last year, but not this much. So, as a cinema collector, it was a pretty cool sight, and I was pretty blown away by that. So, I did end up picking up only one UMD video. There was another one I was going to grab. It was a U2, not Rattle and Hum. It was, like, I think a live concert. $5. Was going to grab it. Very excited. I opened up the case. No UMD inside. I turned to the guy selling it. I'm like, are the UMD supposed to be inside? You're thinking, well, maybe they keep them like aside or something so nobody steals them or something like that. The guy goes, no, sorry, it's missing. So I didn't get that one, but I did get this one, and that is Trigun. I guess I'm pronouncing that correctly. Trigun Volume 1, which is apparently just the first 2 episodes of the anime series. I've heard of this series. I know of this series, but I've never seen this series. So I was intrigued. Definitely had to pick this up. Love adding new UMD videos to my collection, especially since I got that new book cart, which I keep all my UMD videos on. So love picking this up. $5. Seemed like a good deal. It's brand new, factory sealed. So very awesome to pick that up. So Trigun Volume 1, the one and only UMD video I picked up. I was really hoping to get more. Unfortunately, I think when it comes to UMD videos, the problem is there's a lot of people at the convention that are like stores, people who sell video games for a living that set up there. And from what I can gather, this happens a lot. When I go into a store, a video game store, and I say, do you have any UMD videos? A lot of the stores will say, oh, we don't even carry those. We don't take those in because apparently they just don't sell. Apparently UMD videos just sit on the shelf. And I can understand that. UMD games are probably going to sell, you know, people want to buy games for the PSP, but you know, these were one thing when the PSP was like, you know, relevant and everybody was buying for the PSP. But now that, you know, it's an old console, who's going to buy, you know, UMD videos? Probably not many people unless they're nerds like me and want to collect this kind of stuff. So it's a shame that a lot of stores don't take these in anymore and that you just don't see them as often as I'd like to. And I'm sure these are, they're out there more, but stores aren't taking them in. So, oh well, but at least I got one. And this was awesome. As you guys saw in the video, there was that whole like rack just full of Blu-rays. I believe it was $5 a piece, or I think it was like 5 for 20, something like that. Really good deal on a bunch of Blu-rays. Unfortunately, it was a bunch of stuff I already had. I think there was maybe like 1 or 2 titles that I was like, maybe I'd get those, but I really didn't know anything about them, so I passed on them. But there was one title I definitely had to pick up for only $5. This was awesome. And that is the Green Hornet 3D Blu-ray release. Check this out. This is so cool. I grabbed the 3D Blu-ray for $5. I love that. Now, yes, the Green Hornet isn't exactly the best movie ever. I know a lot of you guys are probably saying that, but I didn't think it was bad. I mean, it's okay. I mean, yeah, they turned it into a comedy and whatnot, but I actually thought it was an okay movie. I enjoyed it, and very cool to have it in 3D. I already have it, just a standard Blu-ray release, but really cool to pick it up in 3D now, this year being the 3D Blu-ray DVD combo pack. Very, very awesome. And this was actually brand new. It's the plastic's off it, but the security device sticker is still on it. And I did actually peel it off just to double check. And yeah, all the discs were pristine. Looked like it had never been touched, which I'm assuming it hadn't been. So this is really cool. For $5, I had to pick it up. Unfortunately, they got a really good deal on all the Blu-rays they had. 5 for 20 was an awesome deal. I think that's what they were selling for anyway. But there just wasn't like 4 of the titles I wanted. So grab the one I wanted. $5 for this. Awesome. So that was it for the cinema. Well, with the exception of this, the movie buff guys were there, which or should I say guy and girl. Really cool couple. I love those guys. They're so fun. They're so neat. They're really friendly. If you're at a convention, you come across the movie buff people, talk to them. They're so nice, and their game is really cool. Not here trying to promote them or anything, but their game is really neat. It's a movie like it's a really fun movie game. You never have to buy like expansion cards. I'm not gonna get into it, but it's really fun. Check out Movie Buff. You can find them on like I think Facebook, and they have a website and everything. Check them out. Really cool. One friend who was there, Dolby, he was talking to him a bit, and they were explaining the game to him, and I saw they had magnets. So I picked up this cool movie buff magnet, which is like their logo for the game. But you can even get this just to be like, hey, I'm a movie buff. I mean, whatever you want to do. But this is really, really cool. I'm going to put it on my new book cart that's metal, and I have like some magnets on there. I'm going to add this to it. So that was really, really cool. I definitely want to promote the game. I like the game. I don't have a copy of the game because I don't really collect trivia games anymore. I used to, but not so much anymore. But still, I do recommend the game. It's really cool if movie games are your thing. It's definitely awesome. And I just like the fact that it just says movie buff in general. It's a really cool magnet. So that's awesome. Had to grab that. Very cool. So... all right, that was it for cinema. So now on to the actual games I picked up. So first two things here I'm going to show you. These are really cool. Grab these. We have some, I think these are GameStop banners. Check that out. This is so cool. Game Boy New and Nintendo Game Boy Used. Look at that. These are so cool. So I asked the guy how much he wanted. He said 10 a piece. I said, okay, thank you. And I started walking away, and he goes, oh, I'll give them to you both for 10 bucks. So I picked these up for $5 a piece, which seemed cool. And the reason I wanted both is because the other side, there's nothing on it. Had these been double-sided, I would have grabbed just one and maybe would have paid 10 bucks for just one. But what I plan on doing is like taping them together or something like that and doing like, you know, this. So when I hang it up, because I think I'm going to hang it up on the ceiling above where I have my Game Boy games. That's the idea. I'm not sure if it's going to work out the way I want it to because it might block some light. We'll see. Stay tuned to the very end of this video. At the very end of this video, if I end up doing this, I will show it to you guys hanging up. So we'll see if it works out or not. I'm hoping it does, but this is my plan, to just kind of put them together like this. So now it's double-sided and just hang it up above my Game Boy collection. Very cool. I like it. I just wanted to get that just as something neat to hang up. I love hanging up stuff in the library, so for 10 bucks, had to grab that. Then I believe I paid $3 for this. It was marked at 5, talking down to 3, and that is a Game Boy camera. Check this out, the blue one. That's awesome. Very, very cool. So the reason I wanted this is because there are actually games on here. There's like a space shooter game. There is like some DJing game, which I don't really get. I don't know if it's really a game. I guess it is. I don't know. And then there's an old like Game & Watch game where like the guy's like juggling and you got to keep the guy like juggling the balls. So there are some games actually on the Game Boy camera, which is really cool. But plus it's also a fun like digital camera, like an old school digital camera, which is neat. I like it for that as well. But just the fact that this has some games on it, which is really cool. Wanted to grab that. $3. I definitely had to pick that up. I also came across the Game Boy camera printer and some paper as well. I passed on. They wanted too much for it. This was at a different booth. They wanted way too much for it, so I did pass on that. But pretty neat to see. If I ever came across the printer and the paper for like cheap, I would grab it. But it's nothing I need. I really wanted this because it's the cool part of the camera. It is the camera, and it's got some games on it, which is neat. So this is awesome. I really wanted one of these. $3, had to grab that. Then for $8, they wanted $10, talked down to 8. Grab 2 Micro Machine games. We have Micro Machines for the Game Boy. This is a fantastic game. The Micro Machine racing games are so much fun. They're extremely well done. Absolutely fantastic games, and definitely one I needed to get back in the collection. Used to have this back in the day, so very cool. And this I've actually never played. This is Micro Machines, I guess it's V3. Never played this one before. This is for the Game Boy Color. I'm going to assume it's just a like colorized, like updated version of the original game, I guess. I'm not sure. I haven't tried this out yet, so I really don't know. But if it's anything like the original one, it's going to be a lot of fun. So very cool. Again, I picked these up for basically like $4 a piece, so not a bad deal. Awesome there. Then this is part of the 5 for $20 deal. You guys saw there was that guy who had the games that were $5 a piece or 5 for $20. So I ended up picking up 5 games off him. So first thing here, this is awesome. This is SSX Tricky. It's hard to see that fast. This is a really fun snowboarding game, and I'm really excited to have this because I have another one of these. It's a different version, and I remember being kind of bummed when I got it because I bought it thinking, oh, it's an SSX game, and I like these games. They're a lot of fun, and then I wasn't a big fan of like that version. It just didn't play well, in my opinion. I didn't really like the graphics. I really wasn't a big fan. And I was trying to think, what game did I have? And this is the one I used to have back in the day, back when I first ever bought a Game Boy Advance. I remember having this, playing it all the time. It's a really fun game, and I'm really glad to have this back, because this one's really well done, in my opinion, and just a lot of fun. So that was really cool. Definitely excited to have that. Then we have Looney Tunes Carrot Crazy. I love the Looney Tunes games. They're always a lot of fun, so definitely had to pick that up. I love it. There's It's just, it's so much fun. I did test this one out. It was really cool. That's awesome. Then we have Pitfall Beyond the Jungle. This was cool. This was okay. It's a Pitfall game. It's not quite like the original Atari Pitfall, but it's not quite like the 16-bit, Pitfall either. It's like this in-between thing. It played okay. It was a fun game. It was interesting. Then we have The Lion King, Simba's Mighty Adventure. This was also pretty decent as well. It's sort of like an updated version of the original Lion King game, at least the Game Boy version of it. The Game Boy version was kind of like a watered down version of like the 16-bit like Super Nintendo version, which is a really fun game. And even the Game Boy version, that's again a watered down version, is still really fun and really well done. This is sort of a little bit of an updated version. It kind of plays the same, but a little bit different. I still like the original Game Boy version better, but still this is fun. So that was really cool. And this is what I was most excited about. We have Bomberman Max Red Challenger. This is so cool. I have Max Blue, and now I have Max Red. That is great. These are fun games. Bomberman games are always fantastic. I love them. They're so much fun, and really cool to have Blue and Red now. That is great. And I love how these are all marked. Like this one was $8, and were some of these more? I forget they were. I guess the other ones weren't, but I remember a lot of the games in this that bin had like prices on them that were definitely more than $5. So I guess they were just trying to liquidate and get rid of all their stuff. I don't know, but the fact that I got all this for $20, I mean that's 5 awesome games there for $20. That was a really good deal. All right, so this I ended up paying only $6 for, and this is really cool. I basically out of the $100 I bought, $100 I brought. I bought this at the very end of the convention after I was done buying everything else I wanted to buy, and I bought some lunch too because part of that $100 went to lunch also. I only had like $6 left on me, and they wanted $10 for this, which is an okay deal. But I asked the guy, I'm like, look, I got $6 left. Will you take $6 for this? He's like, well, let me go talk to my manager. Whenever I talked to him, I thought, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to take $6 for this. And the guy said, sure. So I ended up grabbing F-Zero GP Legend. This is great. This is definitely a game I've been on the hunt for. Definitely wanting this. The F-Zero games are fantastic. Amazing racing games. This one has a really cool story mode as well. Really enjoy this game. It's great and fantastic to have it. $6 for this was a steal. Very happy they said I could have it for $6, which is one of the reasons why I love going to the convention on a Sunday. Is because once like around like the convention's over at 5, and once like 4 o'clock rolls around, a lot of vendors are just looking to get rid of stuff. They don't, the less they have to go home with, the better, and they'll start making awesome deals, including F-Zeros for only $6. That was really cool. All right, these were $5 a piece. Picked up Atari Anniversary Advance. This is pretty cool. It's got, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 5 Atari games on it, which they're fun games. I mean, there's like, I think there was like Asteroids and like Super Breakouts. I'm trying to think of what else is on here. Centipede, I think, like Missile Command, maybe, like some classic games like that. Cool games, which is fun to have this for. It's just that they could have fit a boatload more than 5 Atari games on these cards. Believe it or not, these cards hold a lot of information. You can put a ton of stuff on these cards. And these are Atari games we're talking about. So the fact that this only has 5 games on it is actually kind of lame. They could have put so many more classic Atari games on this one card. They should have done that. They could have made this just such an amazing thing. But it is what it is. So lacking on the games, but at least the games that are on it are good. So that's cool. Then I paid $5 for this. I had to grab this. I had to pick this up. The person selling this, their prices on games weren't all that great, and they weren't even making deals, and there was some stuff that wasn't marked, and I asked, this has no price on it. How much is this? The guy says, oh, hold on. Gets out his iPad and starts looking up prices on like eBay, and I'm like, oh god, like I wanted to say, you know what? Never mind. Once somebody starts looking up prices, like if I'm at a flea market, yard sale, whatever, store, once they start looking up prices, I almost immediately just go, never mind. So I pass on everything else, but I had to get this. This is $5, and you guys don't understand. This is Walt Disney World Magical Racing Tour. This is cool. The game is just so-so. It's a kart racing game, but for the Game Boy Color, so it's not really all that great. It's Game Boy Color. Again, I think the Game Boy Color just a lot of times tries too hard. That's my main downfall with the Game Boy Color is that, sometimes less is more. Like for instance, with the Game Boy, you got some really simple games, but they're super fun. they try a lot of times way too hard to make the game more than it needs to be with the Game Boy Color, and they kind of do that with this, but it's still a fun, interesting game. It's actually okay. But what's cool about it is you're racing around like parts of the Magic Kingdom, and I think that's so awesome. And I just, you guys know me. I think it's more than Magic Kingdom because they do show, I guess it's all, actually all 4 parks. That's really, I didn't even notice that until just now. There's a Tree of Life, Cinderella Castle, the Earful Towers. This must have came out before, I guess 2000. Oh, no, this is actually copyright 2000. So maybe this came out before they officially, well, I guess it would have, before they officially made the Sorcerer's hats at Hollywood Studios, the symbol of the park, and there's Spaceship Earth in the background. So this is really cool. So you're racing around actually all of Walt Disney World, not just Magic Kingdom. So that's really cool. I only tried this out for a little bit. I didn't really get too far into this game, but this is cool. You guys know me, I'm a big Walt Disney World fan, so I had to grab that. That was pretty neat. And this is awesome. I saw a couple copies of this, and I passed them until I came across this one. This is The Legend of Spyro, A New Beginning. In its box with all the manuals and everything like that, which I don't need. I don't collect the boxes. I'm only into collecting the actual game itself. So most likely this box is going to go up on Listia. Believe it or not, if you post like manuals and boxes and stuff up on Listia, people do want this stuff because people collect these things. You know, some collector out there might have this, but not have this, and they will bid on this. So this will end up going up on Listia. I have no need for the box or the manual, but I definitely wanted a game. I love the Spyro games, although I think this one might be a bit different. I think it might be like side-scrolling. I've never played it, but I'm just assuming, but I'm looking at the back of this. It looks like it's not your typical like top-down view Spyro game. I don't know. Looking forward to checking this out and seeing what it's all about. I'm not sure, but The Legend of Spyro, A New Beginning. Pretty cool. Grab this for $5. Again, they wanted 10 for it. I said, how much would you go down? He said, oh, maybe I'll do like 8. And I was like, oh, well, I think I'll pass right now. And he goes, well, what were you thinking? I said, 5. He goes, okay, 5. So got it for $5. Awesome. Definitely excited to add another Spyro game to the collection. And then last up here, these are all the $1 games I grabbed. And I love the $1 games because, as you guys know, the way I collect for, or maybe you don't know, but the way I collect for Game Boy is I'm not necessarily going for a complete Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance collection. I'm not like shooting for that, but I am picking up like any and every game. Like I just want to have, I want to have them all, but I'm not like, it's weird to say. I want to have them all. I buy everything, but I'm not necessarily going for a complete collection because I don't think it'll ever happen. But I am just going for it as like, you can see I'm going for as many as I can get collection. So $1 games are fantastic because I can pick up a lot of stuff that I might not really be interested in or might not even want to play. For $1, I will definitely grab it. So first up here is Fairly Odd Parents Breaking the Rules. Fairly Odd Parents games aren't usually all that great, but anyway. This is well worth $1 though. This is Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness. I played this one a little bit. Super fun. It's definitely a Pac-Man style game, but you're like in a maze and it's all 3D and it's actually a lot of fun. This I was having a good time with. Looking forward to playing that some more. $1 for that was a steal. Then we have Backyard Football 2006. You know, whatever. Hot Wheels Stunt Track Challenge. Actually, that could be fun. I haven't played it yet, but that sounds like it could be an interesting game. NHL 2002, and Madden 2004. I don't even like football. All-Star Baseball 2003, featuring Derek Jeter. Okay. This year, here we go. Dragon Tales, Dragon Adventures. Yay. Barbie Island Princess. Actually, I think I paid more than $1 for this. I think I paid like... I want to say I paid like $3 for this one actually, because I think this was part of the that one the one guy was selling all the sports games for $1, and then he said anything else will make me a deal. And I think I ended up paying 5 for 3, so I ended up basically picking up 2 sports games off him for $1, and then this I ended up paying $3 for. So whatever, another Barbie game, Barbie the Island Princess. So we'll see if that's any good. Getting for $1, grab Princess. Is it Natasha? I guess that's what it says. I don't know if this is any good or not. Student Secret Agent Princess. So we'll see if that's any good. I don't know. Soccer Mania. Bratz. That's like another Bratz game I have now. Baseball Advance. Tiger Woods GPA Tour 2004. SpongeBob SquarePants Light Camera Pants. What an interesting title. Another SpongeBob SquarePants with, what's the name of this one? I can't tell. This is Battle for Bikini Bottom. Madden NFL 2007. This is cool. Finding Nemo, The Continuing Adventures. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know there was a sequel to the Finding Nemo game, so that's awesome. And then that was it for the Game Boy Advance, but I ended up picking up 2 Game Boy games here. I grabbed Rugrats Time Travelers, which I do already own, but this here's in better condition. My label is kind of all faded and like I've seen better days. So just grab this as an upgrade since it's in better condition. And then this is a new one. This is Quarterback NFL Club. So again, I'm not really into football, but cool to have another game, original Game Boy game for the collection. So those were all $1. I think with the exception of that Barbie, I paid like $3 for. So some good deals there on a bunch of just kind of random games. Again, with the exception of that Miss Pac-Man game. That's a really fun game. I can't believe that was only $1. That was awesome. Well, all right, guys, there you go. That was everything I picked up at Too Many Games. Definitely a lot of awesome stuff. Cinema. I mean, the fact that I came across all those Blu-rays, DVDs, VHS, that was really cool to see. I was not expecting that much cinema at Too Many Games. I only grabbed a few things, but still very cool. Hopefully next year the same. I would love a ton of cinema at the game convention. That's always fun. But of course, I do go out there for the games. As far as cinema is concerned, though, I was really trying to hunt down the last 3 Game Boy Advance videos I need. I only need 3 more for the collection. Then I have every single Game Boy Advance video. I didn't come across any of those, so it looks like I'll be ordering them off eBay sometime soon because I really would like to complete my collection. So probably in the next, like, I don't know, few months or so, I'll be ordering all that stuff and completing that collection. Also, I would have loved to have grabbed, I was looking at some YouTuber stuff like Angry Video Game Nerd and Pat the NES Punk and Game Chasers and stuff like that. I was looking at their stuff, was tempted. The one thing that I would have definitely picked up is I was thinking about getting the Angry Video Game Nerds. I guess it's Angry Video Game Nerd Volume 10, which is the Blu-ray that's out that has first I think 100 episodes on or something like that. I would have totally grabbed that Blu-ray, but I don't know if he was sold out or just didn't have any. I'm not sure, but they didn't have any of those, so I wasn't able to grab them. I can still order it off Amazon, which I might end up doing. Unfortunately, though, there was nothing at the game convention to pick up, so I did pass on that. I was tempted to also get the Game Chaser stuff. I really like their videos, but I don't know. I just passed. It's not that their prices are bad. They're like, $20 a season or something like that. I think Angry Video Game Nerd stuff was like $10 for a season on DVD, which is a good price. It's just that, I don't know, you guys know me, I'm such a bargain hunter. It's hard for me to pay that much sometimes. Even on stuff that I know I'll never find cheaper. It's really hard for me to pay those prices. So I don't know. I probably should have, but I can always order them offline for like the same price. So it's whatever. Maybe I'll get this sometime down the line. So I don't know, guys. But still, I got a lot of awesome stuff. And it was definitely an awesome day. Already looking forward to next year. So, all right, guys. So, like I was saying, thank you guys so much for checking this video out. Be sure to hit that like button down below. Also, if you want to see a brand new video from me every single day, hit the subscribe button and you're going to get one. And also, if you want to grab yourself a CinemaSickness t-shirt, hoodie, tank top, buttons, hats, all kinds of cool stuff, head over to cinemasickness.spreadshirt.com where you can get yourself some of that. And finally, if you want to show your support for new content and just show your thanks and appreciation for all these videos, head over to patreon.com/cinemasickness, where every tiny little bit helps and is very much greatly appreciated. So again, that is it. Thank you for watching. Have a great one, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.